Hi everyone, I am here to discuss pattern problems. These pattern problems help us to understand the for loop, especially the nested for loop, in a much better way. So these are like fun kind of exercises. At the same time, we can learn the intricacies in nested for statement. So this is helpful. This solving these pattern problems is very much helpful for the beginner who has just started coding or who is learning a new programming language. One way it checks our logical skills. Indirectly, it teaches us how these for loops can be exploited to achieve our results. Okay, so here I came up with 10 patterns. The difficulty level of writing code for these patterns is easy only. This is beginner level. In the next videos, I will come up with medium level difficulty and hard kind of patterns also. So first let us solve these pattern problems. So I took 10 problems here. So the first pattern is printing stars for 5 rows and 5 columns. So let us code for this one. I am writing Python code for this. This is the pattern. 5 rows and 5 columns are to be printed. So you please remember, whenever you need to work with some tabular structure of information, the nested for loop must be considered. Why we need to consider nested for loop? So one loop should take care of the rows and another loop should take care of the columns, and these two should happen simultaneously. So for that reason we require nested for statement. We can also take like outer for and inner for. Outer for loop is to handle rows and inner for loop is to handle columns. You please remember this. If you have command over this one, over this understanding, you can write any kind of code for solving pattern problems. So here 5 rows are there and 5 columns are there. I am going to write code exactly to print this pattern. I will be taking for I in range 5. How many number of rows we need to generate? 5 rows. So this is outer for loop, and I will be taking one more for loop inside this I loop, that is for j in range 5. This is called inner for loop. Please remember, inner for loop is for columns, outer for loop is for rows. This is to deal with rows, this is to deal with columns. You look at this pattern. In this pattern, how many rows are there? 5 rows. How many columns are there? 5 columns are there. In each column, what is to be done? We have to print star. Print star. What is the nature of print statement of Python? It will print the output in a new line. Every time it will go to new line and print the output. But our requirement here is 5 stars are to be printed in one line, in next line another 5 stars, next line another 5 stars, etc. So to achieve that, we have to do like this: end equal to, as there is no space given between the stars, I need not give anything here, so it is just no space, but I am using end to say that the print statement should not go to new line. Then this is inside j loop, inner for loop. Then once that row is completed, once one row is completed, I will have to shift the control to next line. So for that I will be writing empty print statement. Please remember that. You please observe how I am writing this code. So whenever we are attempting the pattern problems or any kind of tabular kind of information, We need to take two for statements, one inside the other. The outer loop is to take care of the rows and inner for loop is to take care of the columns. If you remember this one, you cannot make mistakes actually. So let us run this code. Let us see whether we will be able to generate the same output. Yes, we got the same output. This is how we write code for patterns. This is very basic kind of pattern. Next we will see some more variations. Pattern 2. You look at this pattern. Here also 5 rows of stars are to be printed, but the number of stars in each row are not same. In first row 1 star, second row 2 stars, third row 3 stars, fourth row 4 stars and fifth row 5 stars are printed. What is happening here? Here also rows and columns are there, but the columns are depending on the row number. That means in row 1, how many columns are there? 1 column. In row 2, 2 columns. Row 3, 3 columns. Row 4, 4 columns. Like that. That means the columns are depending on rows. How to write code for this one? Let us make an attempt. Yeah. Let us write code for this pattern too. For I in range, how many rows? 5. How many columns? That depends on I. For j in range, I will give I plus 1 here. If I give I, what will happen? In range function, if I give I plus 1, it will stop at I. If I give I, it will stop at I minus 1. When I equal to 0, j will not enter into loop at all. This inner loop will not be executed. For that reason, I am giving I plus 1. Then print star, no space in between the stars, just like the earlier case, and then I am writing one empty print statement. So that is to after one row it has to go to the new line. So to achieve that effect I am using print. Let me run this code. Oh, it's taking too long. Sometimes this Colab takes unnecessarily long time. Yeah. What's wrong here? You see? Can you identify the mistake that I committed here? I forgot to give this end. End equal to. Let me run this again. Yes. This is the exact output we expected and we got it. Now, let us attempt another pattern. Pattern 3. Earlier we have worked with stars. Here we have to work with numbers. In first row 1, second row 1, 2, third row 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here I will be fixed and j will be taking from 1 to I. So that is the logic here. Let us write code for this. For I in range 5 rows here. For j in range I plus 1, like we did for printing stars, print what is to be printed here? I or j? J is to be printed. If I print I, it will be like 1 in first row, 2 in second, all 2's in second row, all 3's in third row, like that. So I have to print j, end equal to space. No space at all. Sorry, space is there here. Yeah, one space I have given. Then after every row, one empty print statement. Now let me run this code. This will not give the expected result. I will tell you why. What is happening here? It is starting from 0. Why? Because I didn't mention with what value this I or j has to start. So let me modify this code. I have to start with 1. To get 5 rows, we have to take 1 to 6 and then here 1 comma I plus 1. Now let me run this one again. Yes, this is the exact output we expected. Have you observed what I made here? To print stars, I value or j value does not matter. To print numbers, we must be clear with what I value is printed, what j value is printed. Next one. Let us work with another pattern. This you can easily do. Let me write code for this one. For I in range, in earlier example, I told you why we should take 1 comma 6 here. Then for j in range, 1 comma I plus 1. Then print, instead of j, I will be printing I. Why? Because in first row I should get ones, in second row twos. That can be achieved only when you print I value. Space here, then print empty print. Yes, this is what we need here and we have printed. Next one, let us see another pattern. This is somewhat tedious. In what way it is tedious is, we have to produce these spaces on the left hand side. So to how many spaces are there? Have you observed? In last row no space is there on left side. In last but one row one space. Last but two rows two spaces. Last but three spaces. Last but four spaces. Okay, so that means suppose if number of rows are 5, how many spaces we have to generate in the first row? 5 minus 1. In second row 5 minus 2. Third row 5 minus 3. Fourth row 5 minus 4. Fifth row no space at all. This is the logic. To track these spaces we need to use one more loop. I will tell you how to use that loop. For I in range 1 comma 6, just like our earlier example, I take like this. Then for j in range 1 comma I plus 1. Before I take j, I will be taking one loop. For space, I name this loop variable as space in range. Shall I take 5 minus I here? Yes, 5 minus I. When I equal to 1, how many spaces it will give? 4 spaces. Like this. 5 minus I. Print. Actually, I must take 5 minus I minus 1 or plus 1. We can experiment with that. Let us see. Print. Space is to be printed, comma, end equal to no space. Now come to this j loop. We can print whatever we want here. Print, what is to be printed? J is to be printed, end equal to space. Then after each row, one empty print statement. That's all. Let us run this code. Yes, this is what we expected to print and this is exactly what is printed. Now let us have a look at this 5 minus I. When I equal to 1, what does this 5 minus I mean? 5 minus I will be 4. When I equal to 2, 5 minus I will be 3, like that. So it is generating the exact number of spaces we require. So this is the logic. Whenever spaces are there, this extra statement is to be considered. These two lines are very important when we have to print something in this pyramid form or triangle form. Okay, so otherwise we don't require this first statement. Okay, next, this is the logic for generating these spaces. Now let us have a look at pattern 6. This pattern 6, this can also be called like Floyd triangle. What we are doing here is, uh, just a minute, I will shift this cell down. This is also called Floyd triangle. Here, if you observe, number of rows and columns are not dependent on data. In all our earlier patterns, the row number or column number is related to data. This is independent. But number of values printed in first row is 1, second row 2, third row 3 and so on. We need to take one extra variable. Let us take that variable as k, initially taken as 1. Then we will write our routine pattern logic for I in range 5, for j in range um, I will take I plus 1 here, yeah, for j in range I plus 1. Then what is to be printed? K is to be printed. Nothing to do with I or j. I or j are helpful only to get the number of rows and columns. K and equal to space and we need to increment this k value after it gets printed. This is very important step. Then print one empty statement here. That's all. Yes, this is what we expected to print and it is printed. So this kind of pattern is called as Floyd's triangle. Now let us have a look at this pattern 7. This is like reverse of what we did earlier. In first row 5, second row 4, third row 3, like this. This is also very easy actually. Nothing to get panic here. Let us write code for this. As I told you earlier, fix this outer loop to track rows. For I in range 5, for j in range, here we need to take care what is to be printed in each row. That means what should be the values printed in columns. Then for j in range, we have to start with 1 and it should go up to, for example, let me take 1 6 here. Can I take like this? Yes. 5 plus I. Is this okay? When I is 1, what this j will take? It starts at 1 and it goes up to 6. 6 means it will stop by 5. So we will be able to print 1 to 5 using this logic. Let me print this one. Print j end equal to space, then after each row print one empty statement. That's all. I think it should work. Let us see. Oh, something wrong here. Why? The reason for this is I am incrementing j value. So for first row it is correct. Later on it is to be decremented, right? So I must take 6 minus I. Is this okay? It should work now. Yeah, it has taken 1, 2, 3, 4. So shall I take 6 minus I plus 1? 6 minus I means it will stop at 5, but we should get up to 5 now. 6 minus I plus 1. Yes, this is exactly what we want. Why I am correcting all this online is you will also get to know what is the mistake I made and how I rectified that mistake. Okay, then next one, pattern 8. So here we have to print alphabet. So in first row A, second row AB, third row ABC, fourth row ABCD, fifth row ABCDE. Here you need not worry at all. Why? Because I will tell you one small thing here. They can give any kind of pattern. You need not get panic if we know the logic. If you are familiar with ASCII codes, the ASCII code of capital A is 65, capital B is 66, capital C 67, D 68, E 69. So you take that 65 as the seed, then you experiment, that's all. I will tell you, this is also quite easy, like our 1, 2, 3, printing 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. For I in range 5, for j in range I plus 1, what is to be printed? Print. I will use one function here, chr. This chr function will convert the ASCII code to character. The opposite of this chr is ORD function, which will convert the character to ASCII code. So here we require this chr. So what I will do is 65 plus j. Then it will produce the equivalent character to that, which is nothing but initially it will be 65 plus 0, that is A, next time 65 plus 1 B, and so on like that. Then print. It must give the expected output. Yes, very good. We got the expected output. Now pattern 9. This is also same like our earlier thing, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, etc. But here it is, we have to deal with alphabet. That's the only difference. Let us quickly write code for this. For I in range 5, for j in range I plus 1, print. Here I will be printing 65 plus chr of 65 plus I. Instead of j, what I will be printing? 65 plus I. And equal to, then that's all. Yes, this is the expected output. Next, let us have a look at next pattern. This is also same as our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in one row, 1, 2, 3, 4 in next row, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. This is similar to that. Let us quickly write code for this. For I in range 5, I took 6, right? Here we are going to do 65 plus something. So let me just take this one. If there are any mistakes, we can correct. For j in range 5 minus I, print chr 65 plus j, comma, and equal to, print. That's all. Let us see what will be printed. Yes, exactly. Very good. So this is what we needed. Okay. So like this you can try other patterns also. The patterns I have discussed all are basic patterns only. The difficulty level of working with these patterns is easy. So next I will come up with some medium level and hard kind of patterns also. So these are best examples to understand the working of nested for statement. Okay. I hope you liked this video. Thank you.